You have a substance in your kitchen right now, which is the king of all. It has millions of years of history. It has saved humanity from starvation and disease. It has also once started wars. It was once used in human history to pay soldiers' wages. It developed the taste of emperors, toppled governments, and broke empires, and helped spark revolutions. People were imprisoned for it, and millions of lives depended on it. It not only develops taste, but is also an important ingredient of almost every dish. And today, you probably knocked it off the table this morning without even blinking. This isn't the story of a seasoning. It's the story of power, survival, greed, empire, and one tiny mineral that helped shape human civilization itself. This is the unbelievable history of salt. Era. Before the search for salt, 7 million BCE to 4 million BCE. Imagine a world before villages and cities, before roads, before farms, before history itself. The earth was totally wild and dangerous. Millions of years ago, the early humans lived a very difficult life. They ate wild plants, roots, fruits, nuts, insects, and occasionally scavenged animal meat to survive, and spent every single day just trying to stay alive, running from predators, fighting off hunger. They walked for miles, eating whatever they could find, wild roots, berries, and raw meat. These natural foods already contained enough sodium to meet their biological needs. 2.6 million BCE to 300,000 BCE. Humans of this era became more skilled hunters and scavengers. They didn't know anything about vitamins or science, but nature provided the essential sodium and minerals from animal meat, blood, and organs. So, they never had to look for salt, which was already hidden in their food. 1 million BCE to 400,000 BCE, the Age of Fire. Something extraordinary happened in this era. Humans discovered fire. Once humans were scared of fire, now they were able to control it. The darkness went away. The cold did not feel so bad anymore. For the very first time in their lives, humans were able to cook their food. 300,000 BCE to 12,000 BCE, Middle and Late Paleolithic era. As people moved to Africa, Asia, Europe, and other places, they observed animal behavior. People saw that a lot of animals, like elephants, deer, buffalo, antelope, and others, went to special places to get salt and minerals. These places had salt, mineral springs, mineral-rich mud deposits, and other important things that animals needed. People probably learned from animals that salt and minerals are good for people too. When humans followed animals to these places, they saw that the soil was salty and the water had minerals in it, which made people feel better and not hungry anymore. They learned that salt and minerals from these places were good for their health and satisfied their cravings for salt and minerals. 12,000 BCE to 10,000 BCE, people started to change the way they lived a long time ago. They stopped moving all the time to hunt and gather food. Instead, humans began to settle down in places all around the world. When humans did this, they found that they needed salt to survive. Natural sources of salt became really important. This is because humans were not moving with animals all the time like they used to. Natural salt sources were essential for humans to stay healthy. Humans needed salt from these sources because their lifestyles had changed so much. 10,000 BCE to 6,000 BCE. In regions such as Mesopotamia, Egypt, and across the Fertile Crescent, along the Nile River, through the valleys of China, and across parts of Africa, Europe, and Asia, and parts of the world, a big change started. People planted seeds, harvested grain, raised animals, and built homes. As villages grew, the need for salt emerged, transforming it into a vital survival necessity. 8,000 1000 BCE to 6000 BCE, the first salt makers. People started gathering salt from various places, including salt springs, mineral deposits, salt-rich soils, evaporated seawater. This shows that people were using salt in an organized way a long time ago. It is some of the evidence of human societies using salt that is really old. 5000 BCE to 3000 BCE. Salt became one of humanity's most valuable resources. Civilizations used it for food seasoning, food preservation, animal husbandry, religious ceremonies, for trade also. Salt routes emerged across Africa, Asia, and the Middle East. 5000 BCE to 300 BCE, the white gold of the ancient world. People of this region get salt by boiling spring water. They run the world's first salt factory with fire and clay. Entire communities of Asia, Africa, Europe, Middle East had settled near salt deposits to get it from all resources. Because it was no longer just a mineral, it had become wealth. Hallstatt salt mine, Austria, the world's oldest salt mine, discovered approximately 5000 BCE. The earliest known salt production facility in the world was discovered in the early Neolithic era, approximately 6000 BCE. Cardona Salt Mountain, Spain, discovered approximately 4500 to 3500 BCE era, Middle Neolithic ancient. One of the earliest rock salt exploitations in Europe, Egypt and natron, 3000 BCE to 1000 BCE, lake salt. In ancient Egypt, Egyptians used natron, a natural salt, to preserve mummies for a very long period of time. Ancient Egyptians harvested natron from evaporated lakes, obtaining pure salt crystals naturally. Organized mining from the Hallstatt salt mine, Austria, began in the Bronze Age in 2100 to 800 BCE. Around 2700 BCE, China used salt as a medical drug to heal the human body. 3000 BCE to 500 CE, the age of empires. As civilizations grew, they used the power of salt. The kingdoms of Egypt stored it. Mesopotamian empires traded it. Ancient China built entire industries around it. Across Europe, Africa, and Asia, salt became a symbol of prosperity. Whoever controlled the salt controlled wealth. China, around 2200 BCE, by Emperor Yu the Great, implemented the first salt tax in history. The Phoenicians and sea salt, 1200 BCE to 800 BCE. Phoenicians perfected sea salt by evaporating seawater in shallow pans, leading to wealth for coastal cities without fuel. Phoenicians used salt to preserve fish for months. It helped in food traveling and armies marching. Salt became the world's first refrigerator. Maras salt mines, Peru, discovered approximately 700 BCE. Era, pre-Inca, early Horizon period. Ancient era, 1000 BCE to 500 CE. Khewra salt mine, Pakistan, discovered 326 BCE. Era, ancient Greece, Alexander the Great. Himalayan pink salt discovery, 320 BCE to 500 CE. The Khewra salt mine in Pakistan produces beautiful pink salt, over 500 million years old, formed from ancient ocean beds. Discovered by Alexander the Great's horses, mining began around 500 CE, revealing trace minerals. The Dead Sea, salt so dense you float, 1000 BCE to present. The Dead Sea, Earth's saltiest lake, is uninhabitable and historically harvested by ancient civilizations. 300 BCE to 400 CE. Rome, the Salt Road and Salary. Rome built Salt Road, 300 BCE. Onward, Via Salaria, Salt Road, to move salt. In 300 BCE, Rome sourced sea, lake, and rock salt, using the Via Salaria for distribution and soldier payment. River salt. By 200 BCE, Chinese drilled hundreds of feet with bamboo into the earth to get steam from salt wells. Underground rivers of brine discovered by bamboo drilling. The ancient wars and revolts over salt. 506 BCE. The first Roman salt strike. Mass plebeian protests forced Rome's first state price controls. The age of kings and caravans. The golden age of salt. 500 800 CE to 1500 CE, the world was changing. New kingdoms rose, old empires disappeared. But one thing never changed: the demand for salt. Massive camel caravans crossed the Sahara Desert. Ships sailed the seas with valuable goods on board. The mountain trails were filled with the footsteps of traders who risked a lot just to carry one load of salt. In many places, West Africa, 800 CE to 1500 CE, salt for gold. Salt was so valuable, people exchanged it for gold. Mansa Musa, the richest human ever, much of his wealth came from salt. Salzburg, 700 CE to present, salt fortress. The city got rich from salt mines in the Alps. They called it white gold. The age of exploration, 1500 CE to 1800 CE. The age of exploration expanded continents, trade routes, and colonies. Salt was vital for preserving food, enabling long voyages, fueling exploration. Salt trade and industrial revolution, 1300 CE to 1945 CE. In medieval Europe, rich and elite class people had refined white salt, while commoners used cheaper gray or rock salt, reflecting class differences. West Africa, salt for gold, 800 CE to 1500 CE. Between 800 and 1500 CE, Ghana, Mali, and Songhai empires thrived in West Africa, trading salt for gold, notably ruled by wealthy Mansa Musa. Revolutions and resistance, 1700 CE to 1947 CE. France, the GABELLE salt tax, 1300 CE to 1790 CE, peak late 1700s. The GABELLE, a harsh tax on salt dating back to the 1300s, required buyers to pay 10 times the standard price, resulting in 3,000 arrests each year. The French Revolution begins, 1789 CE. On July 14, 1789, the Bastille falls. The new government abolishes the salt tax, igniting revolution. The Industrial Revolution, 1800 CE to 1945 CE. Machines transformed production. Factories replaced hand tools. Salt became abundant and affordable through large-scale mining and industrial refining, reaching ordinary families daily. Gandhi's Salt March, 1930 CE. On March 12, 1930, Gandhi walked 240 miles to the sea after Britain banned Indians from making salt. He picked up salt on April 6th, leading to 60,000 arrests. The empire cracked over salt. Modern world, 1900 CE to 2026 CE. In the 1920s, iodine was added to salt, eliminating goiter for millions and saving lives. Salt becomes cheap and villainized, 1950s to 2000s. In the 1950s, salt was cheap and crucial for survival. Despite warnings about its link to high blood pressure, our bodies still require salt daily to function properly, highlighting its importance in our diet. The salt shaker on your table. Salt is everywhere in our lives. We find it in our kitchens, in restaurants, and in the food we buy that is already made. Our bodies need salt to work properly. If we have too much salt, it can be bad for us. Salt is very cheap now. It has a really interesting history. Salt has had an impact on people and countries in the past. Salt has even helped shape the way some civilizations and economies have developed. Scientists are exploring innovative uses for salt, focusing on sodium-ion batteries that utilize salt instead of lithium. These batteries are inexpensive and abundant, aiding energy storage, stabilizing power grids, and supporting clean energy. Additionally, salt is crucial for manufacturing glass, paper, clothes, and essential solutions, indicating its growing industrial importance beyond food. So next time you reach for the salt shaker, ask yourself, what else has been with us since the very beginning? Salt was there at the first meal, 1 million BCE. It'll be there at your last. The story never ends, because neither does the craving. Subscribe for more food histories. What ingredient next? Tell us in the comments.